Hello students, let us start with the continuous time systems. Continuous time systems, as I mentioned earlier, those are the systems which takes continuous time signals as input and it will do something with that continuous time input and it will provide a output which is also continuous time signal. Okay, so you can represent a continuous time system like this way. It is the system operator. It is one continuous time input signal and it is the continuous time output signal. So output is related with the input signal by means of the system operator. It is called the system operator, or it is also known as the transformation. Okay, now let me recapitulate again what is LTI system. LTI system means which obeys, number one, it obeys the principle of superposition. That means it should be necessarily linear and its input output relationship should be invariant with time. That means does not change with time. So these are the criteria. If a system obeys these two criteria, one, it will obey the principle of superposition as well as its input output relationship does not change with time, then it is called the linear time invariant or LTI system. Okay, now one very important thing, that is the impulse response. What does it mean by impulse response? Suppose you have a system having the system operation as H and you are exciting the system. That means you are providing input as an unit impulse signal. Okay, so at the input you are providing unit impulse signal and you are getting an output which is HT, suppose. Then the output is called the impulse response. That means response of a system to an input which is unit impulse is called the impulse response of that system. That means impulse response HT, it is generally denoted by HT, is nothing but the response of the system for an input of unit impulse. Okay, you should remember that, because this is the most important property of any system and it actually characterizes the system. Okay, so it will be used further. This particular conception will be used further. Next thing is that mathematical equation governing the LTI CT system. You know that any LTI continuous time system can be characterized by means of a constant coefficient differential equation of nth order, like this. I have already discussed this thing in the lecture 1. Just for recapitulation, again I am writing this equation. It is the constant coefficient differential equation which characterizes it is a general equation which characterizes any LTI system. Okay, these are all constant coefficients, A0, A1, A2 up to AN. These are associated with the outputs, and now I am starting the inputs in the right hand side. B0 dm dtm xt plus B1 dm minus 1 dtm minus 1 xt. In this way, dm minus 1 dtx of xt, lastly bm xt. So it is the equation by which you can characterize any LTI-CT system where n is called the order of the system and necessarily your n should be greater or equal to m, okay, and you should normalize your system by means of the A0, this coefficient. That means A0 should be equal to 1. Now let me give you one example. How can you model a system, or how can you represent a physical system by means of this kind of constant coefficient differential equation? Let us suppose one electrical system, very common electrical system, which is one RLC circuit. One resistive component is there, one inductive and another capacitive component is there in series, which is excited by a voltage source. This voltage source is nothing but the excitation or input of the system. These are the components R, L and C. Now what will be the output? Suppose I am considering it is the excitation or cause, and output is actually the effect, okay. So effect is the current, which could be regarded as the YT or the response of the system. So what are the different voltages across these three different components? As per the Ohm's law, you know that RIT will be the potential drop across resistance, L DIT dt will be the potential drop across the inductance, and 1 by C integration of IT dt will be the potential drop across the capacitance at any instant t. Now this system is nothing but this kind of system where H is the system operator. Here you are providing Vt as the input and you are getting It as the output. Then how can you form the differential equation? Firstly, apply Kirchhoff's voltage law within this mesh. You will find that RIT plus L DIT dt 1 by C integration of IT dt should be equal to Vt. It is the general equation for any KVL equation for any series RLC circuit, and if you differentiate it, both sides you do the differentiation with respect to t, then you will obtain R DIT dt plus L double derivative of IT plus this integration will become simple IT, and it is dVt dt. Both sides you are doing the derivative, we are taking the derivative with respect to t, okay. After that you just simplify and write this particular equation in this form: divide all terms by L. Now can you recognize it is nothing but a second order differential equation, constant coefficient, because R, L, C all are the constant. So this one and this one all are the constants, okay. And IT is actually the YT or the response, and Vt is nothing but the XT, that is the excitation. So this side are the terms associated with the response, and this side is the terms associated with the excitation. So it is nothing but a general constant coefficient differential equation, second order, where n is equal to 2 and it is a second order system, you can say, okay. So in this way you can just relate the output with the input or response with the excitation. By solving this differential equation with given boundary condition, you can obtain IT as a function of Vt. Okay, so that will be your solution or input output relationship you can obtain by solving this equation, differential equation. Okay, now the block diagram representation of a continuous time system. Okay, it is a it is a pictorial representation of any system where you may have different operators like differentiation operator, you may have the integration operator, multiplication, addition, etc. Because you see that for any system you can represent, for any CT LTI system you can represent it by means of a constant coefficient differential equation. That means differential equation means it will have differentiation operation, it will have addition operation because two successive terms has to be added, etc., or subtracted, whatever, and there are constant coefficients which has to be multiplied with each term. Okay, so for each and every operator you should have some pictorial representation. How can you do that? Suppose differentiation. Pictorially, differentiation can be represented by this block. Simple, output will be differentiation of xt with respect to t. Suppose integration can be represented by a similar block, only your system operation is the integration. Okay, next one is the constant multiplier. Constant multiplier can be represented by this way. Xt is the input, and if you provide a is any constant, at the output you will obtain a multiplied by xt. That means it is nothing but an amplitude scaling. Okay, next is the signal adder or subtractor, whatever. Signal addition you can do by means of, suppose x1t is there, another signal is x2t, you have one adder, at the output you will obtain x1t plus x2t. Here in place of the adder you can also use the subtractor in order to obtain x1t minus x2t. So these are all different types of components, or different types of pictorial representation of different operators. Okay, now I am going to study or going to discuss how can you draw the block diagram of a given system. Suppose your given system is any example. Suppose your given system is double derivative of yt plus 2 dyt dt plus 3yt is equal to 4 dx by dt plus 5xt. So it is one second order differential equation, constant coefficient. That means it is representing one second order LTI CT system. Okay, so what will be the steps? What are the steps? First step 1, first you find out from this equation, you find out what should be your yt without doing the solution. Okay, just take these two terms here and divide all the terms by 3. Okay, so it will be minus 1 by 3 minus 2 by 3. Now these two terms plus 4 by 3 dx by dt, and finally 5 by 3 only xt. Okay, so I have taken this term at the left hand side and all other terms in the right hand side and divided all the terms by the coefficient of this term. Okay, so now look at that, these two terms are associated with only the excitation and these two terms are associated with the response. Okay, so let me denote these two terms as a whole as capital X and these two terms as capital Y. Okay. Now any system, you know that if any system is there, it is your system, you should have at the left hand side you should have the input, and at the output at the right hand side you should have the output. Now you are going to draw the block diagram. That's why first draw at the left hand side, first draw, suppose you have xt as input, keep all other places empty in between, and at the right hand side you are drawing, it should be your output, and entire block diagram should be at the middle. Okay, so by seeing this equation, that means this one, you have to draw your block diagram. First, look at this term, only capital X, that means it contains two terms here. One is associated with xt, another is dx by dt. Okay, so xt, this particular line is representing or carrying the signal xt. So actually look at now what is the multiplier with the xt, it is 5 by 3. So connect a constant multiplier having the gain of 5 by 3. So at the output of it you will obtain 5 by 3 xt. So it is this term. Okay, next take out from here another branch. This branch is also xt. Now do one differentiation operation. What will be the output of it? It will be dxt dt. Okay, now I have obtained now the dxt dt, this term, but it has to be multiplied by some coefficient. So you have to add one multiplier of gain 4 by 3 in order to obtain the second term of the capital X. So it is 4 by 3 dxt dt. Okay, now see that simply you have two terms, this one you have here and this one you have here. If you add them you will obtain the capital X. Okay, so you just add them like this way, use one adder here, so here you will obtain the capital X. Is it clear? So this is the block diagram representation of this capital X term you have obtained here. Okay, next go to the right hand side. Here already yt is available because you know that it is the yt, this line is representing yt coming out. Okay, so here you can take out the yt. Now look at here, you have to have these two terms. So here yt is there, you connect one differentiator here, you will obtain one first order differentiation of yt with respect to t. Okay, so it is there, it is already obtained. So multiply this term by means of its associated coefficient, you will obtain this whole term. So multiply it by means of a multiplier which has the gain of minus 2 by 3. Okay, minus 2 by 3. So at the output of it you will obtain minus 2 by 3 dyt dt. So it is already obtained. Okay, so this term under the capital Y is already obtained. Again here the dyt dt is already available. Now do another differentiation operation. If you do two successive differentiation operation in this way, at the output you will obtain the second order differentiation of yt. Okay, here it is there. So this term second order differential of derivative of yt is already obtained here. So multiply that by the associated multiplier. So multiplier should have the gain of minus 1 by 3. So that will give you the second term. Okay, minus 1 by 3 double derivative of yt. Okay, now see that you have to add these two terms here in order to obtain y. So simple, here the first term is available, here the second term is available, add them by means of one adder. Here you are obtaining the y, is it? Okay. Now by seeing this equation, see that yt should be ultimately equal to y plus x. Here y is available, here x is available. So connect to one adder here. Put one input of the adder as x, another input of the adder as y. So at the output, what should you obtain? You should obtain yt, and yt can be connected to yt. That means it is the whole block diagram representation of this differential equation. By using this procedure, you can get the block diagram representation of any given constant coefficient differential equation, or any that is associated with any arbitrary LTI-CT system. Now I am going to discuss how can we obtain the response of a given LTI-CT system in time domain. That means suppose an nth order LTI-CT system is given to you. You have to solve that differential equation in order to obtain the yt in terms of xt. Okay, so there are two methods. Method 1 is there. Method 1, your response will be yt. It should be the summation of two solutions. First one yht, this one, it is called the homogeneous solution. Homogeneous solution. It is the response of the system when there is no input signal. That means you have to solve the differential equation by considering input signal xt equal to 0. That will give you the homogeneous solution. Okay. Next one ypt, this one. This is the particular solution. What is particular solution? Solution of the differential equation for a specific input signal for t greater or equal to 0. That means you have to now solve the differential equation again by considering a particular specific xt for t greater or equal to 0. Okay, that will give you the particular solution. After getting both of them, you have to add them in order to obtain the total or complete solution. It is the method 1. Okay, now I am going to the method 2. Method 2 defines the response of the signal by the response of the system by this way. Yt, that is the complete or total solution, should be equal to y zit plus y zst. What is y zit? That means this one. Y zit is the zero input response. What does it mean? Zero input response. Okay. Zero input response is nothing but the homogeneous solution with constants evaluated using initial values of the output. Okay, that means the initial conditions. Initial conditions will be provided to you with the problem. Okay, you have to find out the homogeneous solution like this way, and after that the constants, which are the arbitrary constants associated with that homogeneous solution, you have to find those by means of or by using the initial conditions associated with the output which will be provided to you with the problem. Okay, this is also known as the free or natural response. Okay, and now what do you mean by YZST? YZST means zero state response. Okay, zero state response. What does it mean? Zero state response is sum of the homogeneous solution and particular solution with zero initial condition. Okay, that means you have to find out the homogeneous solution as well as particular solution first. After that, by using the initial conditions, provided to you with the problem, you have to find out the constants associated with that with that particular solution. That means having the summation of both homogeneous and particular solution. Okay, this particular solution is also known as the forced response. Okay, now see, by carrying out some numerical example, you do have better visualization of these solution procedures. We will solve a particular problem by using both of these two methods. Okay, now the example is, determine the complete response or the total response of the system described by the differential equation. Okay, this differential equation is a double derivative of yt, 5 single derivative of yt plus 4yt equal to dx by dt. Okay, so it is the second order differential equation which is representing one second order LTI-CT system. Now see that this one is one initial condition, y0 equal to 0. What does it mean? The response at t equal to 0 is equal to 0. It is given. Again, derivative, first order derivative of the response at t equal to 0 is given as 1. Okay, so these two are the initial conditions which we have to use, and we have given one specific input, xt equal to e to the power minus 2t ut multiplied by ut. That means it is one causal system, causal signal. Okay, so now let me start the solution procedure. First, let me consider the how can you find out the homogeneous solution. Okay, for that case, you have already understood that in order to obtain the homogeneous solution, you have to first put xt equal to 0. That means 0 excitation system. For that case, if you put xt equal to 0 here, your system is becoming this. Okay, it is equation number 1. Now let us consider solution having the form of this. Yt is equal to c is a constant, e to the power lambda t. Okay, lambda is another constant. Now find out what is dyt dt. It should be equal to c lambda e to the power lambda t, and again find out the double derivative of yt. That will give you c lambda square e to the power lambda t. Okay, so these two are equation number 2. Now substituting equation number 2 into actual 0 input or 0 excitation system, you can obtain, if you substitute it, the first term can be substituted by this one, c lambda square e to the power lambda t, plus second term 5 is the coefficient multiplied by this one is the first order derivative. Okay, so substitute it, e to the power lambda t, plus the third term 4 is the coefficient multiplied by c e to the power lambda t should be equal to 0. If you take common the c e to the power lambda t, then lambda square plus 5 lambda plus 4 should be equal to 0. Now you know that c is a constant which should not be 0, because otherwise it will become 0. Okay, so c is not equal to 0, as well as e to the power lambda t, it should not be equal to 0. Okay, so that should be equal to 0. So you can have lambda square plus 5 lambda plus 4 should be equal to 0. That will give you two different values of lambda. One is minus 4, another is just factorize it. Factorizing it, it will become lambda plus 4 multiplied by lambda plus 1 should be equal to 0. Okay, from that you are getting two solutions of two roots of this characteristic equation, lambda equal to either minus 4 or minus 1. Okay, from that you can say your homogeneous solution is nothing but equal to C1 e to the power lambda 1 t. Lambda 1 t means any one of these, plus C2 e to the power lambda 2 t. Okay, lambda 2 means the other one. So you can write your homogeneous solution like this way: C1 e to the power minus 4t plus C2 e to the power minus t. Just putting the values of lambda 1 and lambda 2 from here. Okay, so it is your homogeneous solution. I am giving it as number 3 equation. Now let us find out the particular solution. Now for getting the particular solution, first look at the input. Input is given as, or excitation is given as e to the power minus 2t ut. What does it mean? It should be nothing but e to the power minus 2t for t greater or equal to 0. For all other cases it should be 0. Okay, so it is equation number 4, and from that you can easily find out dxt dt. Just differentiate it, it will come as minus 2 e to the power minus 2t, this one. Okay, now let us consider your particular solution have this form: k multiplied by xt. Okay, xt is already known, which is e to the power minus 2t. K is a constant. Okay, k is a constant, so it is the form of the particular solution, suppose. Now put this, now before that just find out the first order derivative of the particular solution. It will be just take the derivative of this one, it will give you minus 2k e to the power minus 2t, and again the second order derivative of this particular solution you will obtain 4k e to the power minus 2t. So these two are already obtained for this particular solution. Now substituting these values, particular solutions value, this value, as well as this value into the original system equation or the differential equation. I am writing the differential equation by replacing yt by the particular solution. Just replace all this into this equation. So first term will become 4k e to the power minus 2t. Second term will become 5 multiplied by minus 2 k e to the power minus 2t plus 4 multiplied by look at here, it should be k e to the power minus 2t. Next this one should be minus 2 e to the power minus 2t. If you cancel out all e to the power minus 2t's from all the terms, you will obtain 4k minus 10k plus 4k should be equal to minus 2. From that you can find out the value of k. It is equal to 1. Okay, so it is equation number 8, and your particular solution from this equation or this equation, your particular solution, now you have the value of k, put that here, 1 multiplied by e to the power minus 2t. That means it is your particular solution. Okay, equation number 9. Now you have to find out the total or complete solution by using, first let us consider the method 1. In the method 1, the complete solution should be equal to homogeneous solution plus particular solution. Okay, both are already obtained from the previous pages. We can write, in place of homogeneous solution you can have C1 e to the power minus 4t plus C2 e to the power minus 2t plus the particular solution which we have obtained as e to the power minus 2t. Okay, so it is equation number 10. Now it is given that from the first initial condition it was given that y0 is equal to 0. Okay, so that means if you put t equal to 0 in this equation, just obtain y0, e to the power 0 means 1. Okay, c1 it should be c2, it should be e to the power 0 means it should be 1. Okay, that should be equal to 0 as per this initial condition. It is equation number 11. And next another initial condition is given, that is dyt dt at t equal to 0 should be equal to 1. It is the second initial condition. First find out dyt dt from this equation. Okay, dyt dt, it should have the form minus 4c1 e to the power minus 4t plus minus 2 e to the power minus 2 c2 e to the power minus 2t. It is not 2t, it is t, it is t, sorry, for a correction, this t, so this 2 will not be there. So it is minus e to the power minus t. After that again do the differential derivative of the last term, it should be that. Okay, so it is equation number 12. So now if you put this initial condition here, so dy by dt at t equal to 0, put t equal to 0 at these terms, so that will give you minus 4c1 minus c2 minus 2. That should be equal to, as per this initial condition, that is equal to 1. Okay, so it is equation number 13. Now solve this equation number 13 and equation number 11 in order to obtain c1 and c2. If you do that, you will obtain c1 is equal to minus 2 by 3. Okay, and c2 will be equal to minus 1 by 3. So putting these values of c1 and c2 into this complete solution, yt should be equal to minus 2 by 3 e to the power minus 4t minus again 1 by 3 e to the power minus t plus e to the power minus 2t. Okay, so that is the complete solution. You it is for obviously t greater or equal to 0, or you can write this whole thing minus 2 by 3 to the power minus 4t minus 1 by 3 e to the power minus t plus e to the power minus 2t within bracket ut. That is the causal signal. Okay, so it is the complete or total solution by using method 1. Now I am going to the method 2, by which you can have the similar solution. From method 2, you know that the complete solution will be the summation of 0 input solution and 0 state solution. Okay, 0 input solution is nothing but the homogeneous solution with constants means c1 and c2 evaluated by using the initial conditions. Okay, so you have to find out the 0 input response by this way. You already have the homogeneous solution, so write the homogeneous solution. It was already there, minus c1 e to the power minus 4t, c2 e to the power minus t. Okay, it is equation number 14, and you already have that. Now you have to find out c1 and c2 by means of the initial conditions. First initial condition was y0 equal to 0, By using that, just put y0 here. So yh0 should be equal to c1 plus c2. That is given as 0 here. That is given as 0. So it is the number 15. It is one equation. Another boundary initial condition is that dy dt at t equal to 0 equal to 1. Okay. So in order to use that, first find out the derivative of the homogeneous solution. It will give you minus 4c1 e to the power minus 4t minus c2 e to the power minus t. Okay. Now put the value t equal to 0. So dy h dt for t equal to 0, just put t equal to 0 here. 4c1 minus c2, that is given as 1. Okay, it is equation number 16. So this is one equation, this is another equation. Just solve these two equations in order to find out c1 and c2 separately. If you do that, you will find that c1 is coming as minus 1 by 3 and c2 is coming as just 1 by 3. Okay, so these two are now known, and put these two here in order to obtain the zero input response. So it will be minus 1 by 3 e to the power minus 4t plus 1 by 3 e to the power minus t. Question number 17. It is a zero input response. Now I am going to have the zero state response. Zero state response should be equal to summation of the homogeneous solution and the particular solution with constants, again the constants of those c1 c2 evaluated with the initial conditions. Okay, so now see that you have the homogeneous solution, you have the particular solution. Just add up these two in order to obtain the zero state solution. So put the values of the homogeneous solution, the terms of the homogeneous solution plus, it is the homogeneous solution plus the particular solution. It is also there. Keep as equation number 19. Okay. Now again find out the derivative of that in order to use the second boundary condition. So it will be minus 4c1 e to the power minus 4t minus c2 e to the power minus t minus 2 e to the power minus 2t. Equation number 20. Okay. Now first use the first given initial condition. It was y0 equal to 0. It is the initial condition. Put that here. So yz is 0 should be equal to, put t equal to 0 here, c1 plus c2 plus 1, that should be equal to 0 here. This equation number 21. And now use this one here, and your initial condition was dy dt at t equal to 0 should be equal to 1. Okay, if you put that, you already have dy dt here, and put all zeros. Okay, dyzs t dt at t equal to 0, put all t 0 here. You will obtain minus 4c1 minus c2 minus 2, that should be equal to 1, which is given as initial condition. Equation number 22. Okay, and now this one is one equation, this one is another equation. If you solve them, you will obtain c1 as minus 1 by 3, c2 as minus 2 by 3. Okay, you will obtain these two, and from by putting these c1 and c2 values here in the yzs solution, that means the zero state solution, you can have the complete zero state solution. Minus 2 by 3 to the power minus t plus e to the power 2t. So now you have both the zero input solution as well as the zero state solution. So how can you obtain the complete solution? complete solution or the total solution, you know that it is equal to 0 input solution plus 0 state solution. So add them. If you add them, you will obtain, it is coming as, just verify, okay, you will have this one. It is t greater or equal to 0, and you can just write the whole thing ut. Okay, so now verify this one, this equation number 24, this one is same as the solution of this differential equation by using the method 1. Both are same. Okay, so method 1 and method 2 are equivalent. You can adopt any one of them.